Welcome one and all to the third year of these painting log videos. As with last year, I'll be putting one of these up every 2 months, and I'll get into my specific goals for 2021 in a little while, but for now, let's take a look at the models I've painted in the first 2 months. First up is a batch of 5 skinks, because as I mentioned in the last log, 2021 is the year of Wib finally tries Age of Sigmar. And I got the Start Collecting Skinks box for Christmas, because skinks are great and I love them. Anyway, these are mostly remarkable, although I was pretty pleased with how the face paint on the alpha came out. It just felt like a fun way to differentiate him. Although I will say that I will definitely leave the shields off when I prime the next batch, because wow was it a pain to paint around them, but hey, you live you learn. So some of you might remember that over on the main channel a while back I made a video about restoring an old jet bike. Well, I did it again, although this was less of a restoration and more of a just assemble and paint an old thing because it was in good condition anyway. Thank you very much to Storm Knight who sent it to me. As you can probably work out, it's a chaplain, but I've painted him up as a lamenter because I'm low-key trying to collect an authentically Rogue Trader combat patrol's worth of them. Although that is a very long-term goal, so don't expect to see too much of it for a while. But I have at least now got an HQ sorted. He'll be run as some sort of jump pack chaplain should he ever see the table. Next up is another old model that was sent to me by Seamus, a Dark Elf Space Trooper, which is another one of those models that was released before Rogue Trader itself was. Hell, it's only like 6 months or so younger than I am. But yeah, I suppose it's the earliest example of an Eldar. It's got a lot of unusual details on it, like the gun that may or may not be a kind of vacuum cleaner, or the large shoulder piece that looks like it's one of the alien ships from the Alien franchise. Also, the head is comically thin and wonky when viewed from head on, but you know, that's just how it goes with models of this age, it's part of the charm. The colour scheme was come up with on the fly since I didn't really know what to do with them, although it ended up looking kinda close to my actual Eldar army's scheme, completely by accident. The next model is from the 3rd edition Chaos Marine kit that I assembled from old bits and painted up for the Chaos Space Marine model retrospective over on the main channel. Not much to say here, but it was fun to paint a model in such vibrant colours. The pink was done with Vallejo Game Colour Squid Pink, if you're interested. Now we have something a little special. This is an Ignis pattern giant exosuit, which is the official name for this fan sculpt of an upscaled Rogue Trader dreadnought. This thing has been floating around on the internet for a while now, but I finally got my hands on one. I'd link to the shop that sells them, but given the nature of the model, I don't know how much attention they want paid to them, so if you want one, I'm sure you can find it. I believe in you. Normally I don't tend to go in for third-party 40k models since the place I mostly play, or at least did before we entered the end times, was Warhammer World, where they frown upon such things. But I do love me some Rogue Trader dreads, so I couldn't resist. It was a nice model to put together and paint, although it still feels weird to have a dread like this that isn't made of metal. It just feels way too light. This version, that seemingly is no longer available, has the double flamer option, although I magnetised the weapons so I could swap them out if I wanted to later. It'll be run as a relic Contemptor in games since it's a lot taller than the originals. I would do a size comparison with a Contemptor, but for some reason that's one of the few types of dreads we don't actually have one of. Have a Leviathan instead. The model is also super interesting from a design perspective since it's not just an old dread but big. The design combines elements from both versions of the Rogue Trader dread's body, because the old dreads were a modular thing that could be built in many ways, as well as having a lot of quirks that are unique to this one, like the longer arms and how the legs attach to the bottom of the body. But yeah, overall, neat model, really glad I finally got one. And finally, although this wasn't actually the last thing I painted, it's just the biggest, is a Forge World Grot Megatank for my Grot Rebellion. I got this for my birthday last year and it is a gorgeous model. It's huge and took me an age to paint, but it's great. There's quite a few little modifications I made to it. For one, it's fully magnetised, even the mast, so it can be transported easier. I also made extra rockets so I could have the weapon loadout that I wanted, added the extra grots, and made the Rebel Star that goes on the mast. It's not the newest Forge World kit, so as the older ones tend to be, it was a bit of a bugger to fit together in places, but now it's done, I love it, can't wait to get it on the tabletop. Okay, so in the first 2 months of 2021, I have painted 10 models, which considering that included painting the Megatank, I'm pretty happy with. That means that my totals so far are 10 models painted in 2021 against 1 model bought, which was the Dreadnought if you were curious. But with that said, what are my actual painting goals for this year? Well as what I try to do every year, painting more than I buy and trying to get the equivalent of one model painted every week, there's some other stuff I'm low-key aiming for. One is to try and have 1,000 points of Seraphim painted by the end of the year, of which I've already made a little progress. And the other is to try and get at least one larger model done for every painting log video. I managed this with the Mega Tank and arguably the Dreadnought this time around, but I really want to try and get through all the tanks I have in various states of completion for my Argent Wardens. This'll mean it's unlikely I'll paint as many models as I did last year, but it should mean I'll have a lot more large things to show off, so that's fun. So you might be noticing the images that are appearing on screen right now that aren't of things that I've painted, and that's because I thought it would be nice to show off some of what you folks have been painting in the last 2 months at the end of these videos whilst I'm doing my wrap up. So if you want something to show up here, then head on over to my Twitter at WibDoesTweets, give me a follow, and when I'm putting these videos together, I'll put out a tweet asking for pictures. Links to everyone's profiles will be in the description, and yeah, lovely work all round. I'm just sorry that I won't be able to fit in every single one I'm sent. Anyway, I'll see you all next time.